Hello and good evening. My name is Rockstar aka Mirko Caruso and welcome to the Delta T Racing Class D Race 6 tonight in Italy, exactly in Monza. We should start in a bit. A few details about Monza. Tonight we're gonna race 27 laps. The track length is 5.7 kilometers and we have 11 turns that the driver have to take to complete a lap. This is race number 6 after the chaotic race last week in Zandvoort with a lot of safety cars and the restart. So I hope tonight we're gonna have a better performance of the game, so we can see a lot of race action. Let's have a quick look at the standings. After 5 races, we have the driver championship, who is led by Hims 2K7 in the Red Bull with 51 points. Behind him is Gunnar 18 in the Alfa Romeo with 49 points. So we will have an eye on these two guys tonight. P3 for BT Nuts after a good performance last week with 45 points. Place for Askelos 57 with 39 points in the Aston Martin. And to finish the top 5 we have Aeon Dune, also with an amazing performance last week in the Alpine on P5 with 36 points. Let's have a quick look at the team championship standings. Alfa Romeo leading on P1 with 85 points, Ferrari 61 points, And Williams also on P2, also with 61 points. These are the first three teams in this actual championship, and we're gonna see who is gonna get some points tonight in Monza. So we have 18 drivers in the lobby, and I guess normally it should be a full grid tonight, as I saw on Discord, but I think we are still waiting for a moment to see if the last drivers will join, and then we're gonna head into Monza. So stay tuned, we're gonna start in a bit. I will be back in a few moments. Alright, countdown has started. We are heading into Monza, Delta T Racing, Class D race number 6, Italy. Let's go. As always, the weather will be a big topic. Let's hope for dry weather. I mean, I should say let's hope for rain. That would make everything a little bit more interesting. But yeah, let's see. 30 seconds left for the start of the qualifying. As you maybe all know, we are racing a short qualifying of 18 minutes after a 50% race with 27 laps. All right. Yes, dry weather for the qualifying. 18 drivers in the lobby. I will just show you the tires so we can be prepared and see what strategy the drivers are trying to make. And we have already the first cars going out. I didn't see who it was, but we will find out in a bit. And it's the Alpha Tauri of Tires Turzo. We're gonna onboard with him. Tires Turzo trying his first hot lap on mediums. The only driver who is out on mediums. No, we have now the other Alpha Tauri, Jalapeno Pepper, also who selected mediums. So it looks like Alpha Tauri guys try their first hot laps on mediums. Meanwhile, we stay with Tires Turzo to see or to have the first impression of this circuit in Monza. As I said before, 5.7 kilometers long. And as you can see, we have dry weather. This is the second DRS zone of the circuit. A really fast circuit. I'm not sure, but I guess it is the fastest of the F1 calendar. And meanwhile we see Tires Turzo preparing his hot lap on mediums. And we have a lot of drivers out, only 5 who are still in the pit. And Saleh also in the Alpine decided to go out on mediums. And we're gonna ride with Tyrese. DRS open. 334 kilometers an hour. Full brake, second gear, up to third gear to have the best traction. Stays in second gear. So we're gonna stay with Tyrese Turzo to see the first time of this qualifying. Downshift to third gear. You have to be careful here to not take the curb too much, because otherwise you will lose the control of the car. Fifth gear, full acceleration. Downshift to fifth or sixth. Full acceleration again. Sally leaving space. DRS zone for Tyrese, the second one. Already arriving in sector 3. And this one, a really fast corner where you have to be careful to not invalidate your lap. Well done by Tyrese Turzo. That should be a nice lap for him. And now last turn down to fifth gear, upshift to sixth gear for best traction, and now full speed arriving at the start finish line. And we have the first time of Tyrese Turzo with a 122.6, already beaten by Gunnar in the Alpha with a 122.0, but with soft tires. So let's go through the few wheels we're gonna have. We have Wardy R6 on P3 at the moment. And we have a new hot lap, new pole position at the moment with 121. The first driver going under 122, Aeon Dune 12 with a 121.2, also on softs. Amazing time from him. Askeio 7 in the Aston Martin, also with a 121.9. So, Aeon Dune, Askeos and Gunnar, the first 3 guys at the moment, but the qualifying is still in the beginning. We have 13 minutes left, so there will be a lot of other changements. We're gonna ride now with Saleh, who had also an amazing performance last week. Let's see what he can do on mediums. Had a good exit. And let's see if he can match with the other guys on softs. Arriving at the last turn. Beautiful view of the Williams of Saleh. Doesn't look like he can get a pole, but 122.4. Saleh actually on P8 with mediums. He's the best medium runner at the moment. So we have, we had a span. We had a span of even M02 with Jalapeno Paper, both with broken front wings and have to pit. Lucky they have no DNF. We're gonna ride now with... that was not careful by Jalapeno. We have even disqualified from the session. I didn't see what happened, but Jalapeno didn't leave space to DMX 50, so I think that, yeah, of course, the lap of DMX 50 is invalidated. Let's see if he stays out or if he goes... No, he stays out for a new lap. Second lap for his soft tires. Let's see what DMX 50 can do in the Aston Martin. Ooh, that was a corner cutting, already invalidated his second lap on softs. So, no time set at the moment from DMX. Jalapeno, as I said before, in the pit with a broken front wing. We right now in the Mercedes of Marcos. Marcos, who had a big crash last week in Zandvoort in lap 1. Let's see what he can do in Monza in Italy. Ooh, we have a crash in background. We saw a Haas spinning, I guess it was the one of Elixir. But we're gonna focus on Marcos to see his first time in Monza. 1:22.2 brings him to P7. Marcos in P7. The only Mercedes at the moment with a time. But we're gonna ride now with Felix in the second Mercedes. Let's see what he can do. Full speed, 8 gear down, shift to 3rd gear to take this chicane. You have to really be careful to not invalidate. I think he was a little bit slow, but safety. Let's see what he can do else. 5th gear, full acceleration. Good and clean driving from him. DRS open. Bogarovsky set a time 1:21.9, brings him to P4. But we're gonna stay first with Felix to see what he can do. The Mercedes arriving at the last corner of this circuit. Right behind him we see the second Mercedes of Marcos on P8 actually. Saleh on P6, the best medium runner, and we're gonna stay with Felix. Felix with a 1:22.6 on P13 at the moment. P13 for Felix, and we go to the next driver. We have the Haas of Elixir, Tarek. Elixir Tarek, no time set for him at the moment. Let's see what he can do. It looks like a 1:22.1. Ooh, Elixir on P8. So we have two Haas in top 10. The Reflex P2 and Elixir on P8 at the moment. We're gonna ride with Lath 9.919. I'm not sure if he was blocked a little bit by Elixir arriving at turn 1, but we're gonna stay with him to see what he can do. The second McLaren, the teammate of Bogarovsky. Good, arriving at sector 2. And we have DMX 50, who had an amazing lap with a 1:21.4, brings him to P2. Aeon still the leader with 1:21.2, but just 2/10 behind him, DMX in the Aston Martin, and the Reflex with a 1:21.8 on P3, already on his outlap. But we're gonna focus on late 919, what he can do. Let's see if he can get in top 10, actually in P13 this time. Doesn't look like he can improve his time. Yes, let's see. Oh, 1:21.4. Excuse me for that. Late 919 on P2 after an amazing lap. What a nice job from him. What else do we have going on? Let's go and see what Bogarovsky with an improvement of 1/10 in the McLaren with fresh soft tires. DRS open, of course. Already arriving in sector 3. Oh, small improvement in sector 2. It looks like he lost a little bit of time and he invalidated his lap Bogarovsky invalidated his lap. I don't know if he has to pit because of the full Wardy R6 leaving space. What else do we have going on? So actually we have Aeon Dune in the pit, P1, late 919 on P2 with an amazing 121.4. Dimix 50 also in the pit, Aston Martin P3, Askeos P7. Let's stay with him. Looks like he's really wide. Doesn't look like he can improve his time. Let's ride with Winter Travis in the Red Bull. Second lap for his soft tires. His time actually 121.8. Let's see if he can do better in this lap. Has some traffic in front of him, an Alpha Tauri. Came good through the chicane. Right now in sector 2, we ride with the Red Bull of Winter Travis. DRS open, of course. Dimix 50 in the Aston Martin is out again of the pits. And we see Winter going really wide. He lost, of course, a little bit of time. Not sure if he can improve his time at the moment. But no, he slowed down. I think this was it. Winter Travis actually on P7 and Bogarovsky with a P2. Bogarovsky with a 121.3. Amazing time from Bogarovsky, and that brings McLaren on P2 and 3, the two teammates starting in front, and we have the other two teammates in the Aston Martin on P4 and 5. That's going to be really interesting. What else do we have? We have Reliot in the Alpha on his outlap on fresh soft tires. Meanwhile, you can see that everyone has soft tires, so the medium runners also switched to soft tires because they went too slow. And we're gonna stay with Reliot to see if he can improve his time. Actually on P14 within the Alfa Romeo with a 122.3, almost 1 second slower than the actual pole Aeon Dune. But we're gonna stay with Reliot. Let's see what he can do. Turn 1, one of the most difficult braking points. Good job from him. Right in front of him, the other Alfa Romeo, his teammate Gunnar, actually on P10. Reliot in the Alpha, already arriving in sector 2. A little improvement for him. And he had not a good exit of this chicane, and he already has to slow down his lap, so no improvement for Reliot at the moment. We're gonna go through a field. What else we have? Tires Turzo. Also, we have a lot of yellow flags going through the field. Okay, Wardy on his outlap. Let's see, let's go with Racing Ryan in the Red Bull. Actually no time set for him. Has a lot of traffic in front, and meanwhile we have just 4 minutes left in this qualifying, so he has to be careful to not invalidate this lap. No, sorry, he is already on a time of 1:40. It looks like he had a spun or something, so no time at the moment for Racing Ryan. And Bitinats meanwhile is also out. Bitinats has had a really nice race last week in Zandvoort, was leading the race for a long time. Let's see if he can place a time and what it will be. And we have a new pole from Aeon Dune 12 with a 120.6. Aeon Dune going under 121. What an amazing time. And Dimix in the Aston Martin on P2. So Dimix grabbing P2 at the moment, but we're gonna stay with Bitinats to see if he can. No, Bitinats invalidate his lap. I didn't see if it happened now or it happened before, so he has to be really careful to set the time. So what else do we have? We have a lot of things going on. Let's go in the front. We have Lace in the second McLaren, actually in P4. Let's see if he can improve his time. Sector 1 was not better. Disqualified from session for Dimix 50. Dimix 50 stays on P2 actually. Disqualified from the session for going the wrong direction. I didn't see what happens, but we're gonna focus now on late 9.919. A lot of traffic on the field, sorry. A lot of things going on. He's just right behind the Red Bull. He didn't invalidate his lap. Came good through these corners. In front of him, a lot of oh, and we have a big crash. Oh, Dimix was standing on the road and Racing Ryan crashed into him, but I didn't understand what happened because Dimix is disqualified, so he should be really slow or out of the race. And ooh, bad for Racing Ryan and bad also for Leif because he lost a lot of time. And we have a lot of changes in front. We have Elixir in the Haas on P2, also under 121. Sele in the Williams P3 121.2. Bogarovsky P4 in the outlap, so he's gonna try to make a better time. Marcos in the Mercedes on P5 actually. And we had before a big crash. Racing Ryan really unfortunately in this case out of the session. No time set for him. So we have Marcos invalidate his lap. Let's see who else is. We have Askeos, doesn't look like he can improve his time. Tyrus Turzo also cutting the corner to have another start of the lap because he invalidated his lap. We have Bitinats going out with fresh softs. Gunnar, no time improvement. We're gonna stay with Winter Travis. Winter Travis actually P11 and he can improve his time. He's actually in P10. Better time for Winter. So what else do we have going on? Wardy didn't improve his time. Felix also not. We have Reliot with a 2/10 faster than his actual lap. He's actually on P15 with a 122.3. We have a lot of guys really close together, so we're gonna have for sure a really nice race with fightings. And Aeon Dune is in the pit. Aeon Dune, I guess he finished his qualifying. Let's see what Reliot can do. Reliot actually on P11 121.8. So qualifying officially finished. Let's see who else can improve his time. We're gonna stay with Sele. Sele, he's faster on this lap, arriving in sector 2. Maybe let's see if he can improve his time and grab the pole position. Also Bogarovsky arriving at the start finish with a 121.4, stays on P4. Marcos traffic in front of him, really unlucky. He was improving his time and the reflex blocked him. So unfortunate for Marcos. But well, what else do we have going on? We have the two Alpha Tauris on P8 and 9 finishing their qualifying. No improvement for Bitinats. Winter Travis, no improvement for him. Felix, half a second faster actually. So let's focus on Felix in the Mercedes, what he can do. Came good through the chicane, good acceleration out of the corner. Downshift to 5th gear for good traction. And DRS zone. Let's see what Felix can do in the Mercedes, actually on P12. And it looks like we are arriving at the end of the qualifying. Aeon Dune with an amazing 120.6. Elixir right behind him, 120.7, and the third driver under 121 is Sele in the Alpine with 120.9. But we're gonna stay with Felix. I'm not sure if he finished already his lap. Arriving now at the end, 121.7 brings him to P12, stays on P12. So I would say this was it. Qualifying of Monza done, 18 minutes over. And we have Aeon Dune 12 in the pole position for this race. So, qualifying officially over, and we are heading into the race here in Monza. We are starting in a bit. So, Let's have a look to the qualifying results. P1 Aeon Dune Alpine 120.6. Second place Elixir Tarek in the Haas 120.7. Third place Saleh 71 in the Williams. The third driver under 121 with a 120.9. P4 Bogarovsky in the McLaren. P5 Marcos in the Mercedes. P6 Leith in the second McLaren. P7 Askeos Aston Martin. P8 Tyrese Turzo in the AlphaTauri. Second AlphaTauri Jalapeno Pepper. P9. And I didn't have time to see the rest, but we're gonna head into the race in a bit. I will be back in a few seconds. All right, 20 seconds left for the start of the formation lap here in Monza. We see dry weather. Doesn't look like it has some clouds, so I guess we're gonna have a dry weather in tonight's race in Monza. So the last seconds for the driver to make their strategies and the last changements on the car, and here we go. Formation lap before starting the race. We're gonna have 27 laps tonight, and here we go. We're gonna ride with Aeon Dune at the moment. Everyone warming up their tires. Let's see, I will show you the tires. Everyone, oh sorry, we have the first 10 of course on soft, and the rest is starting, or almost the rest is starting on mediums. So that's going to be interesting to see the strategies of the guys, and also the big question of tonight, how many safety, if we will have a safety car, and how many there will be. So as I said before, Monza 5.7 kilometers long, really fast track. And for sure we're going to have an eye on the position changes after the start. Turn 1 will be really interesting. Really interesting fight between Aeon Dune and Elixir for sure. Really important to come through turn 1 and for Aeon Dune to keep the lead. But I'm sure the guys behind him will not make it easy for him. And we are arriving at the end of the formation lap. Drivers warming up their tires to keep 90 degrees best temperature to start, to have the best grip. And here we are. Really dry weather, so I don't expect rain in tonight's race here in Monza, but you never know, it can switch really fast in this game. We have the two McLarens, one behind the other, also gonna be really interesting, and of course they have to avoid a crash. And the last car of Ivan M02 in the Alpine is arriving at the start finish line, and here we are. Red lights on, five red lights, and a little desync. And here we go, Delta T Racing Class D Race 6 in Monza has started. We had a good start, bad start of Aeon Dune, Elixir already taking the lead, and Sally mixing into each other. We have a threesome battle, ooh, and Aeon Dune had to avoid, ooh, a lot of guys cutting the corner, ooh, and Elixir taking the lead, fighting side to side with Saleh. Let's see if Saleh can defend the P1, and in the background we see Leif gaining 3 position. And it looks like Elixir can stay on P1, so we had a bad start of Aeon Dune. Aeon Dune lost 5 positions. And we have a wheel-to-wheel. Ooh, Saleh goes wide, and that brings Leif in P2. So Leif is actually the big winner of this start, gaining 4 positions, brings him to P2, and we have Winter Travis out of the session. You can see his car, Winter Travis out of the session in the Red Bull, and we have a virtual safety car in this lap 1. So a chaotic start with a threesome battle in turn 1 caused Aeon Dune to go out of the track, and so he lost 5 positions. We have the first penalty given to Wardy for hitting under safety car, as I read, and Elixir is actually on P1 behind him. Leif 919 with an amazing start, gaining 4 position. Saleh on P3 in the Williams. Askeos also with an amazing start, gaining 3 position, and we have still the virtual safety car. Bogarovsky P5, Aeon Dune, as I said before, started in pole and now actually in P6. We have a 5-second penalty for even M02 for speeding, and still the safety car, virtual safety car is on, should disappear in a bit. Jalapeno Pepper on P7, BT Nuts P8, Tarius Turzo P9, and Marcos on P10, also with a bad start, losing 5 positions. And we are back racing, lap 2 of 27. We have still a packed field. Let's stay with Askeos, who is really close to Saleh. Saleh with a bit of problems coming out of the corner. Aston Martin, still no DRS, of course, coming the next lap. Let's see what else we have. Dimix 50, really close to the Alfa Romeo of Reliot. Let's see if we can attack him. No ERS open for him, really close. Aston Martin versus Alfa Romeo. Dimix 50, really close behind Reliot. Let's see if we can attack him on the next straight. Yes, he goes for an attack with DRS on, and we have Dimix with an amazing overtake on Reliot. Meanwhile, we have the fastest lap of Elixir, of course, 127. Ooh, a lot of fast laps coming in. Dimix new on P11. Let's see what else we have. Aeon Dune on P6, trying to gain back positions. Ooh, almost lost his car in this chicane. Bogarovsky in front of him in the McLaren. What else do we have? We had already a few of pit stops, even M02. Felix with a bad start, actually on P17 with a gap of 26. And we have an overtake of and I guess Leif did a mistake or has lost his car and throw away the podium at the moment. He was on P2 and now back on P8, but it doesn't. It looks like he had a front wing damage, and that will cost him a lot of positions. So Leif on P11 with a broken wing has to pit. Unlucky, really unlucky for him. And on the front we have some other fights going on. We have Askeos on P2, Saleh P3, Bogarovsky P4, so really close all together. And Leif, meanwhile, losing a lot of position on P13, has to pit now for a new front nose. So sad for him. Leif with the damage, but we're gonna focus on front. What else do we have? We have Saleh. Saleh is also into the pit, so there has to be a contact between Saleh and Leif. So Saleh also into the pit, and that brings Bogarovsky on P3. Let's see if Saleh stays on soft tires. Leif and Saleh both with front wing damage, so really unlucky. That mixed up everything again in front, and we have Aeon Dune gaining back, of course, 2 positions, now chasing Bogarovsky in the McLaren. And we already see that Elixir has a gap of 5 seconds to Askeos, so Elixir with a really clean drive. Elixir P1 in the Haas, behind him 5-second gap. Askeos in the Aston Martin, and we have a yellow flag in sector 2. Jalapeno Paper in fight with BT Nuts. BT Nuts overtook him. brings Beatinaz in the Ferrari on P5, Jalapeno on P6, and Tyler Sturzo right behind him. So we have like a threesome battle for P5, 6 and 7. Aeon Dune also really close to Bogarovsky. Let's see if he can attack him. We have the best time of Elixir in this race at the moment with a 1:23.0, and we see Aeon Dune with DRS open right behind Bogarovsky, goes into the inside line, attack him for turn 1. Bogarovsky tries to defend, but we have Aeon Dune on the inside line, and that was a great maneuver by Aeon Dune, brings him to P3, gaining back a position after a bad start. We have some yellow flags going on. I think it was the one of Leif. Yes, Leif again with a crash in sector 3, again with a broken front wing, and he has to pit again. Really unlucky. We have some other things going on to the field, so a lot of racing action and only one DNF at the moment, so a really nice race, no safety car, good racing action tonight. Bogarovsky lost the position versus Aeon Dune, and already with a gap of 1 second, and Beatinaz now chasing him to grab one position. What else do we have? Let's have a quick look on the tires. We have again a yellow flag, and we have a crash. Askeos out of the session. Askeos, you can see him on the left side, out of the session with a DNF, and we have a safety car. Lap 5 of 27. After a big crash of Askeos, who was in a good position, we have a safety car, and Elixir take the moment, had time to go into the pit. Was really lucky to be in this position to take this safety car, and he choose fresh hards for him. So Elixir with hard strategy trying to go into the end. With the tires we have a few guys staying out for safety car, and Beatinaz is the new leader. We have Bogarovsky also in the pit with, let's see, with fresh mediums. Saleh with softs, Aeon Dune also with softs. So a little bit of time to breathe and have a check at the tires. So regarding the stops, we see the first 8 guys didn't stop yet, also in the safety car phase. Let's see the tires. So as you can see, we have Elixir with fresh hearts on P9, the only, or the guy with the freshest tire on P9. So after the guys will pit in front of him, he will take again back the lead. So I think it was a really good decision. But we will see after the safety car restart what this race will bring. Really nice start. Really sad for Askeos, who had a crash right here in this corner, lost his car, lost the Aston Martin, and crashed into the wall. So Beatinaz leading the race like last week. He was leader for a lot of laps in Zandvoort last week. Safety car stays out one more lap. That gives us the time to have a look at the penalties. We have a few guys with penalties. Wardy R6 in the Alpine with 5 seconds. Sorry, it was not the Alpine, it was the Williams. We have even M02 also with already 8-second penalties. We have Marcos in the Mercedes with 3 seconds, and Felix with 5-second penalties. Both Mercedes on P15, 16, so it doesn't look like 4 points at the moment. But the race is still long. 7 laps of 27. Safety car. And we are excited and we are looking forward to the safety car restart. That's going to be really interesting. So both Alpha Tauris on P2 and 3, and both Alfa Romeo from Reliot and Gunnar on 5 and 6. Gunnar leading actually the driver championship. So we're going to for sure have also an eye on him. Let's switch back to the tire strategy. That's interesting for us. And the question will be if Elixir has taken the right decision to switch on hards, and if he can go into the end. 20 laps on hards should be possible, but let's see what the race will bring. We still have the safety car on field. Let's see if the lights go out. "17 cars left in this race, and yes, here we have the confirmation, safety car in this lap. So everyone warming up their tire to have the best restart as possible. We're gonna focus on front and see if Jalapeno can attack Bitinaz after Bitinaz retakes the pace. Of course, we have a packed field with a lot of fights that will come, but we will focus on the leaders to see if Jalapeno can retake the pace of Bitinaz. Bitinaz had a good restart. Bitinaz with an amazing restart already, gaining 1 second in front of Jalapeno Paper. Jalapeno Paper had a bad restart. We have tires behind him. Both AlphaTauri has to be careful to not throw away the points. We have some position change in the background, and it looks like Tyrese. Oh, we had Jalapeno Paper going right. Oh, and a little contact between him and Dimix. Jalapeno Paper, and we have a yellow flag in sector 1. A lot of position change. Let's see what else. We have Gunnar and Reliot. We have 5-second penalty for Leif. Leif throwing away the race, so unfortunate for him. What else? We have a fight between Dimix and Tyrese. Ooh, Dimix almost losing the car. That brings Gunnar to P4, so we have a big fight for P3 at the moment. Tyrese with some problems, and Bitinaz already a gap of 2.5 seconds. We're gonna focus on these guys to see who can win this fight for P3. We have some yellow flags going on in sector 2, but we're gonna focus here on Gunnar, seeing if he can attack Tyrese. Again, yellow flags going to the field. 3-second penalties for Jalapeno Paper on P2. And really unfortunate for him. We see a little gap between Gunnar and Tyrese. Looks like Gunnar lost a little bit of time. And in the background you see Reliot attacking Dimix, the second Alpha. We're gonna focus on these guys. We have Bitinaz already with a gap of 4 seconds. Amazing. And Elixir is on P13. It looks like Elixir had some troubles in the safety car restart. And Jalapeno into the pit, and he take a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit. Also for Felixi, so a lot of pit penalties, but we're gonna focus here on the front. We have some fights going on. We have Gunnar and Dimix fighting for P3. We're gonna see a wheel-to-wheel action. Dimix is coming next to Gunnar, arriving into the next turn, early braking front. We have the contact. Ooh, contact between Gunnar and Dimix. Dimix out of the session. What a crash, and we have a virtual safety car, so we have to watch the replay after the race what happened exactly. It looked like Gunnar slowed down before the corner, but he touched Dimix, and Dimix is out, so both Aston Martin out of the race. No points tonight for Aston Martin here in Monza, and we have again a safety car after this crash in sector 1, and that's gonna mix up the cards again. We had a really hectic start after the first safety car phase. Elixir has lost some position. I didn't see what happened. There has been a crash, I guess. Jalapeno Paper was into the pit, and now it's gonna be interesting if the guys in front will pit. They should, and they probably can try to take some mediums and go into the end. That's gonna be interesting what they do. Tyrese stays out with used softs. I don't know if this is the best strategy, but we're gonna stay with Bitinaz. Let's see what he does. He switched to mediums, and that brings Gunnar and Reliot, both alphas, to P2 and 3. Elixir with a penalty under safety car. Really unlucky from him. Really unnecessary to get a penalty under safety car, but yeah, of course it can happen. And Marcos gained a lot of positions after safety car restart, now actually in P5, Aeon Dune P6. The second half of and Jalapeno again with speeding into the pit lane, also really unnecessary penalty, so unlucky for him. And Bitinaz after the pit stop with fresh mediums now on P8. Wardy with a penalty, 3 seconds for corner cutting. Really, really bad. Unnecessary to have these kind of penalties under safety car where you don't have to speed a lot. So yeah, the penalties will mix up again, everything at the end. We're gonna have an eye on it. Bogarovsky in the McLaren, P11, even M02, P12. And we have again a safety car for the next 1 or 2 laps. So Tyrese Turzo leading the race in the AlphaTauri with used soft tires, so he has to pit of course in the next few laps. That's going to be interesting what he's going to choose. Gunnar behind him also with used mediums, and Reliot on P3. This is the actual podium at the moment, but we still have more than the half race in front of us, so everything can happen. And we have the second safety car phase after the crash of Dimix in the Aston Martin for the guys that turned in now. Delta T Racing, and we see Tyrese Turzo going into the pit after 1 lap of safety car. So Tyrese Turzo into the pit. And let's see strategy. We have also the Reflex in the Haas going to the pit. So we have Tyrese with fresh mediums and Tyrese also with hard. So different strategies for Tyrese and the Reflex. And in the front we see both Alfa Romeo leading the race, Saleh with used softs behind them, and Marcos now on P4 in the Mercedes. So second safety car phase should end after this lap. What an amazing race at the moment. Delta T Racing Class D in Monza tonight. And I just had a look into the chat on YouTube. Elixir had a crash with the Reflex, his teammate. That's why he lost some positions. That's why he's actually on P7 with fresh softs. So he went again into the pit for fresh softs. That's going to be interesting to see what his strategy will be, and really unfortunate. And we have the notification safety car in this lap. So last chance to warm up their tires for the restart. Gunnar leading the race. Gunnar, which actually on P1 in the driver championship, will retake the pace in a bit, and we're gonna see if Reliot will attack him after the long straight in turn 1. They have to be careful to not throw away the points for Alfa. As I said before of the race, Alfa Romeo is actually leading the championship, and that would be a nice point. And we see Gunnar retaking the pace, and in the background we see Reliot with a bad restart, and Sally already attacking him. The ERS open, and we see a wheel-to-wheel actually from Sally and Reliot arriving in turn 1. Sally is on the inside and already overtook him. Late braking from Reliot, and we had Saley on P2. Saley had an amazing safety car restart and is actually on P2. Reliot lost the position. We see in the background also an Alpine Aeon Dune really close to Marcos. And we have again yellow flags. I guess Jalapeno Paper had a little crash, but we're going to focus on these guys here in the midfield. We see Aeon Dune really close to Reliot, and followed by Marcos. Ooh, and we had a Ferrari also really close. We have a lot of fights going, and Saleh is really close also to Gunnar, and Gunnar goes really wide and lost his car. Gunnar with a crash. Gunnar lost his car and had a crash. Let's see if we are gonna have a new safety car phase. Saleh is new on P1. Let's see what happens. Marcos P2, Reliot right behind him. We have a safety car again, the third safety car in this race after the crash of Gunnar. What a hectic safety car restart. Gunnar with a crash out of this race. He lost his car, tried to save it, and crashed into the wall. So one Alpha is out of the session, and we see Saleh of course going into the pit with his used soft tires. Reliot also into the pit. Aeon Dune into the pit. Elixir again into the pit after only 2 laps. and this will mix up again the whole field. So we had a hectic safety car restart and a crash of Gunnar. That brings us again a safety car phase. We have fresh softs for Aeon Dune, we have fresh softs, no sorry, Aeon Dune with fresh mediums, Reliot with fresh softs, Saleh with fresh mediums, and Elixir also with fresh mediums. That should be possible for him to go into the end. And the new leader of the race is the Mercedes of Marcos, followed by BT-Nuts with fresher tires than Marcos, Wardy in the Williams P3, Bogarovsky P4, and even M02 in the P5. So really hectic safety car restart, and the safety car, the third one of tonight, after a crash of Gunnar, who was leading the race. So a lot of things going on, and we are arriving at the mid of the race, so we have still a lot of laps going on. Let's have a quick look at the penalties. We have 3-second penalty for Marcos, the leader of the race. We have 3 seconds for Wardy, 3 seconds for the Alpine of Even. We have a new penalty for Leif, 3 seconds for corner cutting. We have the second Mercedes also with 5-second penalty, so for Felix. Elixir Tarek with 3 seconds, and Jalapeno and Leif with 3 seconds. So Racing Ryan also with a penalty, 3 seconds for him for corner cutting, as we are racing on straight. So as you all know, in the game the corners are really tricky, so you have to be careful, and penalties are giving really fast. So lap 14, safety car number 3, and we're gonna see one more lap of safety car here in Monza, Italy. Marcos is leading the race now in the Mercedes, but everything is open, the race is still long and everything can happen. The weather is still dry, it doesn't look like we're gonna have a rain race or something at the end. We have some position changes here between reflex. Ooh, someone is really slow. What is going on here? We have a Williams that's really fast, and of course we had someone who bumped into him. I don't know who it was. It looked like Aeon Dune. No, it was not Aeon Dune. Maybe Saleh was really slow, slowing down everyone. And of course we have some penalties for hitting under safety car. I hope there was no damage between the guys. So crazy things going on here in safety car phase. We have 15 drivers left here in Monza, and I hope we're gonna restart the race after this lap to go back on race action and see the third safety car restart of this race. Let's see if the lights go off of the safety car. Should be lights off. No, doesn't look like. No, it doesn't look like. We're gonna have one more lap of safety car. One more lap safety car in this race. Oh no, sorry. Safety car in this lap, so that was really short. Really strange safety car, but safety car, we can see it goes into the pit, and we see Marcos retaking the pace, BT-Nuts right behind him, Wardy also already with a little gap between the guys. Let's see what else we have. We have a threesome battle between Even, Felix and Tyrese. Let's see who can win this battle. We have Felix in the middle. Let's see here, we have Felix could win this fight and brings him to P5. In the background we see Even in P6. We have some attacks, no attacks going on in the front, so we're going to focus here on Even M02. What else we have going on? We have Elixir wheel to wheel with Aeon Dune. Let's see what happens. And wheel to wheel going into the turn, and Elixir braked to avoid a crash. That was a good choice for him. Elixir really careful, and we have a lot of fights going on in front of Elixir, fighting for P8, 9, 10. Really packed, really close. Elixir DRS open, right behind Aeon Dune. Aeon Dune is also attacking. Ooh, for some battle. Oh, both Haas already touching. We have the reflex. We had to cut the corner too. Oh, but we have reflex. Who lost his car? Oh, Elixir lost his car. So unlucky for Elixir. Elixir lost his car. Hopefully he has no damage. Elixir lost his car after after good racing. Who else we have? Aeon Dune really close to the Haas of the reflex, passing him with ERS open. ERS, no DRS at the moment because of the safety car. We have the reflex trying to grab back his P9. Ooh, and there was a contact. Ooh, the reflex touched Aeon Dune. Aeon Dune lost the car but could save his position. Aeon Dune back on P9. The reflex causing some trouble. We have Jalapeno wheel to wheel now with the reflex. In front, still Marcos leading the race. We're going to stay here for this fight. Wheel to wheel action. Into this turn, we have the reflex. We had to cut the corner. P10, Jalapeno is still on P11. And we have here also a fight going on between Williams and Mercedes. And we have Saleh passing Felix. Clean racing from the two, as I have seen. We have a yellow flag in sector 2. And the reflex is out of the session. Let's see if we can see, and we have a safety car again, fourth safety car in tonight's race. The reflex is out of the session after a few contacts, and I guess he lost his car in the corner in front. You have to be really careful here. If you touch the grass, you lose the car. The car is not on field anymore, or is still on field. Let's see if I can see. Yes, here you can see the car of the reflex. So one Haas out of the session, and that brings us to the fourth safety car tonight. Bogarovsky going into the pit with his used mediums, and he goes on softs, maybe trying to change softs for the end of the race. That's going to be interesting if this will work. And what else do we have? We have Marco still leading the race after the safety car restart. Beatinaz on P2 in the Ferrari. No position changes for the first two guys. Wardy in the Williams and Saleh in the Williams. So both Williams on P3 and 4. That's going to be interesting. Felix, the second Mercedes, on P5. Even M02 P6. Tyrese Turzo in the Alpha Tauri P7, Aeon Dune P8, Jalapeno Pepper in P9, and Leith, the last of top 10 in the McLaren. And also here again we see a lot of boys being slow and crashing into each other, so I hope they will not receive some. Yes, of course we have some penalties. Elixir with a 5-second penalties for hitting under safety car, so I don't know what is going on there exactly, why they slow down. There must be a problem with the Delta. As you all know, we have Elixir ignoring yellow flag, so I don't know what is going on here. Something must be broken in this game. As we all know, we have a lot of troubles with safety cars. And Leif is driven by the IE in front. So it looks like the Delta is causing some troubles, that the guys have to slow down all the time, and that causes some crashes. I guess the safety car is gonna stay out for one more lap here in Monza. Lap 17, so 10 laps left. Bogarovsky and Reliot both with fresh softs. It's gonna be interesting to see if they can run until the end. And we have a pit stop of, let's see, I think it was Wardy into the pit in the Williams, and Felix also into the pit with fresh softs, and Wardy with fresh mediums. I don't know if this was the right decision from Wardy to change from hards to mediums, because you should be able to run 10 laps or 9 laps on softs, because we're gonna have one more lap on safety car to save the tires. So I'm not sure if this is gonna be the right decision, but we will see at the end of the race. So Tyrus Turzo with a 5-second penalties for ignoring the yellow flag. I don't know exactly what this means. Really strange penalty, especially under safety car. But we will see if we're gonna have some discussions after the race. Let's see if safety car goes in. Should be, or could be. So we're gonna have the 4th restart of the safety car. Jalapeno Pepper P6. Elixir, who had a spun after the 3rd safety car restart, is actually on P9. He was leading the race for a lot of laps, but had an unfortunate crash with his teammate, the Reflex, who is out. And we're gonna focus on the front. Again, we have even who was on the grass, and we're gonna have a safety car restart now. Bitinat chasing Marcos. That's gonna be the fight. That's gonna be where we're gonna focus after safety car restart. Let's see if Marcos can have again a good safety car restart like before. But Bitinat is really close, and Bitinat had a good safety car restart, really close to Marcos. It looks like Bitinat had a better restart of Marcos. Let's see if he can go and try to grab the position 1 after turn 1, wheel to wheel, both arriving in turn 1. Marcos leaving space, really good racing from the guys, really nice racing from the guys. And we have a wheel to wheel action, and we have Bitinats going out better of the corner, and that gives Saleh also the opportunity to attack. Saleh is almost on, and we have a crash. Saleh and Marcos touched each other, and both are of the race. Saleh and Marcos out of the race. Really unfortunate contact between the two, and I hope we're gonna not have again a safety car face. So this was fight for P2 and 3, and both crashed. Really unlucky. I didn't see exactly what happened. They were wheel to wheel when I was there, and then the crash happened. And we just have yellow flags, so it doesn't look like we have a safety car. No, we're gonna race. Bitinats P1, and both Alpha Tauri now on P2 and 3. That's really interesting. We have Elixir fighting with Bogarovsky for P7. Let's focus here as we have no... Oh, and we had a front wing damage of Felix. Felix ran into the back of Elixir, and it gives Felix a front wing damage, and also next to him Reliot with the front wing damage. So a lot of front wing damage. So we're gonna see a few of pit stops. And meanwhile, Leith is going to the pit with Aeon Dune. A lot of pit stops going on. Aeon Dune. That brings Racing Ryan to P4. So let's see who else is going to the pit. Reliot, Felix, Wardy, and this is it. So position change, fresh mediums for Aeon Dune. Oh, and Bogarovsky is really unlucky. He has to wait for Leith that he finished his pit stop. So Bogarovsky is going to have a long pit stop. But we're going to focus on front. We have Jalapeno Paper fighting with Tyrese for P2. Racing Ryan with a gap of 8 seconds. So it looks like the podium is actually given by these 3 guys. But we have still 7 laps left. Everything can happen. And we're going to focus on these 2 guys, Tyrese and Jalapeno. The fight for P2, both on used mediums. 8 laps used mediums. And Bitinat, meanwhile, already with a gap of 2.6 seconds. So it looks like he can make the gap bigger. And we have Jalapeno Paper, who had a bad exit that brings him to a gap of 1.2. So Jalapeno lost a lot of time in the last corner and is out of the DRS zone. What else do we have going on? Elixir back on P5 after safety car restart. We have even M02, and DRS is now enabled. And we have only 12 drivers left. Really unlucky crash for Saleh and Marcos, who had a really nice and clean fighting until this moment. Bitinats on P1 leading the race. 5-second penalty for Elixir for speeding into the pit lane. He's going to the pit with with Racing Ryan. Racing Ryan who has the penalty first, and then fresh softs for him. And we're gonna stay with Leith 919, who is in the DRS of Aeon Dune in the Alpine. Let's see if he can get close enough for an eventual attack in the next few laps. The only fight going on. Oh, and he touched too much the curb and spun, and that brings him to a gap of 1.5 seconds. So A little mistake in turn 1 of Leif, and he's already 2 seconds away from Aeon Dune. He was in the DRS window. Really unlucky for him. So we're gonna stay with Felix in the Mercedes, chasing Reliot for points, chasing the Alpha, who is actually on P7. Lap 21, 22 of 27, so 5 laps left in this race, and we have Bittinaz in the Ferrari leading the race. And we have Racing Ryan really close to Wardy. DRS open, of course, for Racing Ryan, and he goes wheel to wheel now at the moment, and the easy overtake for Racing Ryan with DRS. So Racing Ryan back on P9 in the Red Bull, the only Red Bull on the field. And we have Elixir now chasing Wardy with, of course, fresh softs. Elixir should be faster, and we have Wardy leaving him a little bit of space. That was close, but Elixir had the chance to hold up, to not lose his car, and now we're back again in the house with DRS. And we see Elixir attacking now again Wardy, max speed and better tires, and we see a wheel to wheel. Oh, that! Ooh, Racing Ryan didn't leave space for Elixir again, and ooh, that was not good racing from Wardy, if I can say that. Wardy didn't leave him space because Elixir was wheel to wheel on turn 1, so Wardy had to leave a little bit of space for Elixir, but lucky for both to not get damage. Ooh, and we see Wardy losing his car, and again not leaving space to Elixir, and Elixir almost losing his car. Crazy fight going on between the two, and in my opinion Wardy was not so clean in this case, not leaving space to Elixir, so I guess that's going to be interesting. And meanwhile Bogarovsky is closing the gap to the both. Elixir now overtook Wardy with DRS, so Elixir finally had the chance to overtake Wardy and has to be careful with this curb to not lose his car, and that brings Bogarovsky in game. Bogarovsky also on soft tires, faster tires than Wardy. Wardy has used medium tires, 11 laps all used, and now Wardy leaves space and Bogarovsky grabs the P11. Fastest lap for Racing Ryan. Wardy stays out with his used medium tires. And meanwhile we have a fight going on between Reliot and Felix. Looks like Felix in the Mercedes passed Reliot in the Alpha. And in front we have 4 laps left, still Bittinaz leading the race. Right behind him the 2 Alpha Tauris that can get a lot of points tonight, Tyrus Turzo and Jalapeno Paper. But we're gonna focus for a moment on Reliot and Felix. Let's see if Reliot can get back his P7, but it doesn't look like. He already has a gap of 1 second between him and Felix. He's out of DRS. Yes, of course, Reliot out of DRS, so it's going to be difficult for him to catch Felix. And meanwhile we see some more penalties given for multiple warnings, and that's going to be really interesting at the end of the race to see the penalties, if we're going to have some some position changes because of the penalties. We see Reliot closing again the gap a little bit between him and Felix. Let's see if he has DRS in the next DRS zone. Should be. Yes, DRS for Reliot. That brings him again really close to Felix. You see the light blinking of Felix. That means Felix is out of DRS. His battery is low. And Felix has a bad entrance of turn 1 that brings Reliot really close after this first chicane. Reliot with a gap of 0.5 really close to Felix. Let's see if he can attack him in this lap to get his P7 back. Reliot with a gap of 0.5. And the point is that Felix has a penalty, so Reliot will of course be in front of him if he doesn't get penalty. What else do we have? We have no fights going on at the moment. The only one in the DRS window is Reliot and Felix, so we're gonna stay quick with them to see if Reliot can grab his P7 back. Let's have a look at the penalties. Oh, we have a lot of penalties in the field. That's gonna mix up again everything at the end. And of course a 5-second penalty for Felix, so even if Felix stays in front of Reliot, he will be behind him because he has the penalty. But Reliot will of course try to overtake him during the race and not at the end because of a penalty. We see here the Alpha chasing the Mercedes, and now he's really close with a gap of 0.5, 0.4, and he has now the DRS. Let's see if he can attack him in turn. Doesn't look like, no, it doesn't look like. Reliot slows down and stays behind Felix. 2 laps left. Racing Ryan on P9 and Elixir with a really unlucky race with 11 seconds penalties. The last one, we have a yellow flag. That is Bogarovsky who has spun. Bogarovsky now on the last position of this race, P12 after a spun. We have maybe some other things going on into the field. I have a quick look. No, it doesn't look like. So everything's still the same at the front. We have Beatinats with a gap of only 1.9, so looks like that Tyrese is closing the gap. Oh, and we have a spun! Beatinats with a spun! Beatinats with a spun. Now he has to be really careful. Oh, it was in turn 1, and now he has to be careful to not hit Jalapeno Pepper. Jalapeno Pepper is really close to him. Has to be careful to not have a wing damage because they have both Alpha Tauris have time penalties. So at the moment Beatinats will still win the race if he stays into the window of 8 seconds between him and Tyrese. So Beatinats with a spin in turn 1, really unlucky for the Ferrari, and now Alpha Tauri of Jalapeno is chasing him, but he has a 6-second penalty, so Beatinats has just to be careful to stay in 8 seconds gap between Tyrese, but Tyrese is increasing his gap to almost 7 seconds, so that's going to be really interesting at the end. Who's going to win this race? We have Leif into the DRS window. Ooh, Leif had a bad exit now with a gap of 1.4. Reliot has, I guess he had a mistake or something because he's now on P7. But we're going to focus now on these two guys. Tyrese Turzo leading the race. After him in the Ferrari, after a spun, we have Beatinats now is on a gap of 6.6. And we are arriving at the last lap of the race. We have Beatinats with a gap of 6.6. This is the focus we're going to have on this race, on this last lap. Beatinats with a gap of 6.5, and we have Tyrese Turzo with a penalty of 8 seconds. Jalapeno Paper going really wide, attacking and getting again 5 seconds penalty. So again 5 seconds penalty for him. Beatinats gives the position back. We have Beatinats on P2 with a gap of 7 seconds. Jalapeno on P3 with 11 seconds of penalty, so it's going to be interesting if you can keep the P3 or if even is better, but even also has some penalties. And this is going to be now the point where we're going to focus for the last few turns. Beatinats with a gap of 7 seconds, Tyrese Turzo with a penalty of 8 seconds. So if Beatinats doesn't commit a mistake, he will win this race. Arriving in the last sector, closing the gap a little bit, 6.9, and Tyrese Turzo is arriving at the end of the race, 7 seconds between the two, no penalty for Beatinats, so it looks like Beatinats can win this race if nothing else happens to him. Tyrese Turzo arriving at the last corners, winning the race at the moment, but we're gonna focus what Beatinats will do. So yes, Tyrese Turzo again, 5 seconds more for unserved penalties. And this will be the win for Ferrari. Beatinats win this race here in Monza. Congratulations to Beatinats, Tyrese Turzo P2, and the second Alpha Tauri on P3, Jalapeno Pepper. So a lot of points tonight for Alpha Tauri. Even M02, P4 for Alpine. Aeon Dune 12, P5, the second Alpine. Leif on P6. Reliot is in a fight with Racing Lane, but Racing Ryan has penalties, so Reliot in the Alpha P7, Racing Ryan, P8, Elixir P10, and the last one with points is Mercedes Felix. So what an amazing race tonight. Wardy and Bogarovsky really close, but Wardy will finish in P11, Bogarowski P12, and this is it. Delta T Racing Class D Monza is over. Driver of the day in the Alpine, even M02. So, podium for Ferrari. Amazing race from BT Nuts. And we have two AlphaTauris on the podium tonight, so a lot of points for them. And that's going to be interesting for the rest of the season. Champagne shower for BT Nuts. Congratulations again to him for this win in Monza. Alright, BT Nuts P1, Tyrus Turzo P2 in the AlphaTauri, Jalapeno Pepper P3, Even M02 P4, Aeon Dune P5, Leif P6, Reliot in the Alfa Romeo P7, Racing Ryan P8 in the Red Bull, P9 for Elixir, who has a lot of unlucky situation in this race, and the last one in the points, Felix Le Pirate from France in the Mercedes. So, this is it, this was it. Monza is over. Thanks for watching and have a good night. See you next week for the next race, race 7 of Delta T Racing Class D. Good night and bye bye.